Welcome to Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. This is episode 33. I am Justin, aka Tagz.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
Welcome to the first episode of 3.11 Harvest League. It's been
awesome.
Yeah, been a good, we're like 12 hours into it. No, not even. Like 8 hours, 7 hours, something like that into it. We'll get into that in a minute. How was your week, Ty? Non-POE week.
Oh, man. Oh, I didn't have a non-POE week. From the second to our Tuesday was when the patch notes were released and the item filter information.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
There's not much to do after that, right?
For most, no. But because of all the changes that have happened since the end game changed, it takes, because I like to keep my guides going league after league, it takes a league. It takes a league to know what the new end game, quote unquote requirements are, like what your new survivability needs to be like in your damage. So then there's like that test league, and then there's the next league where it's like, okay, well now I need more damage or I need more survivability for this. So how can I do it? And then it's like that next league where it's like, okay, I got a good grasp on it for all these different builds that I'm comfortable giving to thousands of people. So this was that league. Unfortunately, 2 of those guides, 2 out of my 4, required some pretty serious gutting to accommodate all the new quote unquote requirements the game has.
Which one took the most?
It was zombies. Zombies. And I was sad to see it go. It lost elemental equilibrium and hatred, and it's now gone to pure physical. Minions, we'll get into it in a sec, but out of nowhere, minions just lost a ton of DPS this league as well. Out of nowhere, but zombies just hit like wet noodles. Like I have every single damage node on the tree. They suck. So I have to add stuff like summon phantasms to it just so that there's more build damage. I have to add specters so that they have frenzies, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it just required a huge revamp, right? And then they added cluster jewels to the core. So I had to, anyway, lots of stuff. But the guide writing itself takes a lot of time. I have to This is going to sound really lame, but I have to give a huge shout out to my wife because she was extremely patient and tolerant of me just like alienating myself in the office all week.
Guides. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, like I'm waking up at 5 a.m. to get them done, and then I'm trying to deal with the family throughout the day, and then I'm up till 2, and then I'm up 3 hours later trying to get it all done, and then the filter stuff. Like it comes out, but it comes out glitchy.
Sure.
So, and you can't actually implement it into POE land until they've actually turned off 310 and turned on 311. There's like that 3-hour window on league day where they're like, okay, the realm's closed. 10 minutes later, it's back up, but there's no gameplay for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. That's when you can actually see if you've done your filter correctly or not. And it was glitchy.
Yeah.
It's been a long week, but a fantastic week, and it is awesome to play today.
Oh, that's
How
funny.
about your week?
It had nothing to do with POE. We had to do the extra episode on Tuesday for the patch notes, so that was fun. We got it rushed out, got it with like 9 minutes to spare on that day.
Wow, that was good. Yeah.
And then work, man.
Actually, I think it came out 5 minutes after midnight because when you look at our stats, I think we had 2 listens for the first day because it came out. That's right, 2 minutes before.
We had 11
it was 2 listens.
or like
that's right.
9 or 11 or something, which was really funny because it came out like 6 minutes before the day would switch over. So,
But you had a good week. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It was just lots of work, and I think I mentioned it maybe in one of our last episodes. But yeah, there's a lot of work for me right now in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm trying to put work off because I want to play, and it's been good though. It's been a good week. I'm excited that the league's now here and we get to play. So real quick shout out to a new supporter this week, Papa Pratt. Love the name. Joining our Patreon group, getting to enjoy the After Dark episodes that come each week after these episodes. If you're interested in checking out our Patreon, you can find the link somewhere. It's down below. Big shout out to everybody. I always say
Stare in the clouds. Yeah. Stare in the clouds and you'll just read it. It'll be magical.
It is there. It's out there. And we really appreciate everybody supporting us. We hit 25,000 downloads, which is crazy.
That's super cool.
And thank you for everybody who's listening.
Yes.
All right. So a few things happened, obviously, Path of Exile wise. It's a new league.
What's that?
New league.
Oh yeah.
We have a bit to talk about. And
Lots.
Yeah.
We've already pushed stuff to 33 already, or to episode 34 already. It's already
not
pushed
important
away.
Stuff.
I have questions.
Oh God. The wolves are minion. That's my favorite one.
Hey, don't bring it up. That's it. Is a good question.
We're not bringing that up.
Screw you. I'm trying to think of something funny to say and I can't say it. No, like, I'm trying to get you like
jerk.
Yeah. You're a selfish jerk, Derek. I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to make you laugh while you're drinking, and you get like a jet stream out the nose.
Won't happen.
So how about tell me about how you got into the league? You joked a few episodes ago, and I didn't want to remind you that all this week you were just going to text me nonsense all week just to interrupt my guide writing. You didn't do it.
I forgot.
You forgot.
Sorry. I got to automate
it's
that
okay
stuff
because
next
you
week.
did it. You did it anyway.
Did I?
Because you were so, and it was awesome. I love it when you annoy the hell out of me. No, no, it's awesome because you know how often I text you about POE. Well, this week you were texting me like crazy about POE, and it was awesome. And I don't know if I've ever heard you so conflicted about how many different builds excited you for a league.
Yeah, I normally have a pretty good direction once the patch notes roll out. And the patch notes rolled out, and I was like, "What the hell? I got like 4 different things I kind of want to play with." So that's not a bad thing. No, yeah, it's been a while since I felt like that, and so
it's a special feeling, Lloyd.
Yeah, I think it's fun when a lot of the core mechanics are the changes, and that's what I'm into checking out. So I decided to roll with a miner. I have not quite decided yet which direction I'm going to go. I really wanted to play the big 2-handed weapons like Earthquake Bleed or Ice Crash something. I need to see how they play out a little bit. I'm curious to see how reliant they are on the cries, and I am excited. I definitely will be playing something like that this league. But so far it's just been the miner. I just finally got my first ascendancy. And then I was forced off a plane so that we could talk to each other.
Aw, shucks.
What about you?
Hey, hang on.
Yeah.
When people talk about miners, I see miners on Reddit all the time. And I think it kind of means 2 things, but I never know what the primary reason is. But miners means you're playing with mines, not somebody that's looking to delve, right? In POE land is a miner. Like I've heard people reference miners as people that go through the delve, right? The mine. But you mean playing
for
with
me
mines,
personally,
right?
I'm talking about playing mines. I have no idea what the general POE public terminology is. I'm not hip with the POE lingo. I would think miner is mines, and I would think delving is delve. I don't know though.
That makes sense to me.
I don't really know. Right. I don't pay attention to Reddit enough to know what the kids are talking about. Anyway, what did you do? Because you went with your crazy no made up guide build.
Okay, dude.
That's what we're calling it.
the crazy no made up guide build?
Yeah, you don't have a guide for it, right?
Means. No, I do not have a guide for it. Yeah. It is a guardian, and it's going to be party friendly, right? For you, I'm getting I'm going to be generating charges all the time and sharing it with my party members. Mm-hmm. That'll be you if I ever catch up to you. And it'll just be all the other ally perks and bonuses that come with it, all the damage ones and onslaught and stuff like that, blocking. And I'm doing, well, I'm not there yet because I'm only at Act 2, but it'll be Cyclone Castwell Channeling and SRS.
What are you using for leveling? Like it right
SRS.
Now. Okay, lovely.
Oh yeah, you get that at level 4 after breaking the eggs. Seriously, every single guide should have first half skill that you unlock and just carry it all the way to the end. It's the best. SRS is so easy to level with though. And you have summoned phantasms that you get right away, and minion damage is in Act 1, and there's so much minion damage and life and energy shield right close to the Guardian. It's awesome. And then everything else, all the other active skills are going to be on either cast when damage taken or their passive supports, and it's just all going to benefit SRS in some way. except for some of the bonus damage from Herald of Purity, because I'll be whacking with Cyclone, and hopefully I don't get stunned too much. I'll have 155% life and 200% energy shield. Energy shields are relevant to stun, which is odd, but
you'll have, assuming you'll get Val Cyclone, which hopefully will get you out of stun.
It's an extra button.
Well,
so we'll see.
It's versus dying potentially.
Well, I want to see how often I get stunned first. I'll probably get it. I'm keeping Cyclone at level 1, but I'll probably get it, and then we'll just. I want to test it out, right? It's a brand new change to the skill.
And
so it's good.
We have a Forever Exiled private league that people on our Discord can get. If you're on our Discord and you want to join, it's in the announcements. But you're not at the bottom.
Well, great news is we currently only have one page of members, so it's impossible for me to be on page 2.
Did you notice that I posted a picture showing you at the bottom, laughing?
No.
Okay, I did. Now I posted a picture and was laughing about the fact that you were holding that solid position in last place, and then I started looking and I was like, I don't see me on that list. Like, how is that possible? I at least created my character. I know I got to beating, Hillock, and I'm thinking, why is my guy not on there? That's so weird. And I had a bunch of work to do. So then I came back a little bit later and I was looking again at it, and Ethan was playing, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, why am I not? Did I not create my character? I created my character in the friggin' trade league. So I had to delete my character and recreate my character in the private league. Thankfully, awesome. I hadn't played very long. I had just gotten to Hillock, and thankfully I hadn't gotten like a tabula or anything, because I never would have joined the private league.
I think you're lying. I think you created it in the private league. You didn't get a tabula from Hillock, and you pouted, so you deleted your character and you tried again.
Why wouldn't I just keep doing that?
I don't know. You're lying for some reason.
No, it was kind of dumb. I was like, what the heck? How did I not create it in the right one? But so anyway, you were actually technically beating me at that point.
I heard you chose the correct starting class.
I did.
But you made a different kind of mistake this league. Last league, you chose accidentally out of nowhere, you chose the wrong starting class for the ascendancy that you wanted.
Still made it work.
Which is hilarious.
Still made it work.
This time, what kind of mistake did you do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. So after we recorded the last episode for the patch notes that were coming out, and I was in a really big rush to like get it edited, get it out before midnight. I had this thing in my head I wanted to do that. But in that episode, we talked about the fact that we decided to do the private league, so we were going to have the information in Discord. And so in a hurry, I was like, I'll just throw some points onto my account, get the league started, so we at least have it. Some jerk took our name, Forever Exiled. Who created that? Who created a private league called Forever Exiled, you jerk?
Yeah, so we're now called Forever Exiled Gardener Fan Club or
something
whatever
about that. I don't even know what it is. Yeah, it's awesome either way. But in the rush, I needed to get points, and so I thought, I'll buy one of the supporter packs, because I hadn't bought one yet for Harvest. We talked about it. I had already seen them before, and I did not like the Divine something, the non-black and red one. It was the one that looked very cartoony. Just not it wasn't for me. It
was like a cartoony Blizzard or a cartoony Diablo character.
Especially the wings. Like the armor I could kind of get around, but the wings were just ridiculous. So bought the supporter pack, got it all started. Playing my character today, and I'm talking to Ethan about the supporter packs because he mentioned buying one. I'm like, I bought the one. I should actually turn it on because I like the cloak, the back piece looks like your garden, like the big scythe or whatever. I can't find that MTX anywhere. I'm going like, what the hell? Where is it? And as I'm looking through it, I see this helmet that I've never seen before. And it says Divine, whatever it's called. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Like, did I somehow in that hurry, I bought the wrong supporter pack. And now I have these ginormous wings. I'm wearing them. I am wearing that whole set.
You're forcing it.
Yep. I'm going to learn to love it. So anyway, I bought the wrong MTX pack for Harvest.
So I'm curious what you're going to do wrong next league. In 312, the mistakes are just getting bigger. Gameplay you can fix. This costs you some serious cash.
I'm going to buy the other
That's
one.
right. See, now it costs you twice as much. So now what's left?
I don't really know. I don't think there's much left. That's pretty much it. I might make the mistake of like play SRS or something. Go CI at 16.
Yeah.
Something silly like that.
I don't think anybody would criticize you. There's just wisdom.
I think a lot of people would criticize me. Be somewhat hypocritical.
But speaking of SRS, I was joking not joking. I was telling you a couple of weeks ago now that I was really wanting to scratch my SRS itch, and I really want to do Guardian, and I just put it off doing other things, maybe guide related, I forget, for the other leagues we've done. So this league, I just said, even though I have 2 new guides that I could probably just, revamped guides that I probably could be playing right now, I'm like, screw it, I want to do something that I'm don't feel like I have to do. And so I was just double checking SRS. It's been a long time since I played. Gems have been revamped quite a lot. SRS is missing some critical information in the actual skill gem description in game. Have you noticed? Because I know you're constantly looking at it.
And it is a little weird.
So SRS is a 100% physical minion skill, but it converts 50% of its damage to fire. It has a fire tag at the top. Nowhere in the gem does it say anything about fire ever at all. There's no conversion talk. There's no description of it. The only way you know it's a fire gem is because it has a fire tag, but there's zero fire chit chat in the actual gem description. And you actually have to go on the wiki, and it's something from, I don't know, I think it was like 1992 when one of the devs said, oh yeah, it converts 50% physical.
Did you haven't bug reported that?
You know what? That is a legitimate one that I actually could and should. And no, I have not.
You really should.
But anyway, I was kind of surprised. That's just something I noticed. Yeah, the skills barely changed since the last time I played it. But
yeah, no, I didn't notice. I did notice when you told me. It is weird. I'm more shocked that you haven't written up a bug report. It's like you're a professional bug reporter.
Yay. Hey.
Yay.
Honestly, working at EA screwed me for video games, because every single game, all the time, it's like, even if you're not, part of the decisions that they make, the basic mentality and decisions and the things that they had to sacrifice to get this out or to get that out, and timelines and bugs and what they decided to ship and what they didn't. It drives me nuts. It ruined video games for me.
Yeah, you and bugs are annoying as heck now.
Oh, hey, I've toned it down a lot, so be thankful. Be thankful. But speaking of
tell me
glitches.
Oh, here we go. There weren't any. I don't know what you're talking about.
I had a fist fight. This has been with the exception of that, I think it's been a very stable release. But we'll get to that in a second.
We'll talk about it. Yeah.
So we're not actually at League launch yet. We're still coming up to League, I guess. I was editing my filter in that window that I mentioned previously, right? The server's been, I don't know what their terms are, but they reset the realm, 3.11's ready to go, but there's zero gameplay for 3 hours and you can get into the queue. So in that time frame is when 3.11 world is up in POE land. And so now I can go onto the POE website. I can paste my filter into the actual POE website to see what's legit and what's not. And I guess they were having some server issues. We were trying to add or approve some people to our private league at the same time, and it wasn't working very well. It was very delayed. So I'm doing some filters are important, right? Like if I screw up in a guide, you have regrets or you have this, there's a lot of things you can do to fix errors in a guide, but filters that's a part of their everyday, every minute experience. And you can screw people out of some serious stuff if it's not right. And so watchstones, when those were first implemented, they were incorrectly tagged by GGG and they're not league items. And so for the first 2 weeks, maybe 1 week of the last league, people that were using my guides had to hit Alt or push down the left analog stick to actually get their league items. So anyway, I'm being very picky because of that experience, and I don't know what happened, but I went to submit a couple times. I lost about 2 hours work the first time. I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I let it go a bit, and now my guides aren't complete, or my filters aren't completely updated. The league's already launched. People have started to play. I'm like, oh man, I only have 1 out of my 9 or 12 PC 12 PC guides.
No,
9, I don't
filters,
know. I can't even count
filters.
Anymore. Filters. Right. Man, I do that all the time. And only one of them's updated. And so I'm going through, and then I go through and I do another hour's worth of work, forgetting that the last couple hours are glitchy, submit it again. Didn't work. I'm like, oh my goodness. So anyway, it was long. I was frustrated because I I just forgot to do backup. Like I have backup and it's all in text. I just forgot to do it.
Do you edit them in their browser?
Yes, it makes the most visual sense for me there. And
telling you, let's get you on Notepad Plus. You're going to love it.
When I do it in Notepad Plus, though, it has general terms, which are helpful. But in the POE on the POE website, it actually has what the terms the game has or not. And there were a lot of things in the item filter list that they released on Tuesday. There were a lot of things in there that I had no idea if they were base types or classes.
Right.
And even some of the seed lists and grain lists, there were a few in each list that don't actually exist at the next tier. So there were a lot of errors that even if you did it perfectly from that list, once you implement it, the filter wouldn't have worked. So, and I even went into NeverSync's filter to check, and all the stuff that I was like, what the hell, why isn't this working? He had to exclude as well from his filter. So
I'm pretending to know a little bit about what you're talking about, but mostly I'm just nodding. You're so on the top 10. You're in 10th
I am
place.
still in top 10, but oh man, tie killer out of nowhere, all of a sudden.
Oh, he's making some.
Oh yeah, they're just flying. So now
he's
there's
only got 3
AAA filter.
It's a quadruple A.
Oh, yeah, it's for a specific build too. Caster.
Not caster, ranged, melee. There's 4. He's got 3.
Oh, terrible business.
It's all right. You'll still stay up there.
Anyway, I got the basics done, got the currency done, but I have to go back and redo all the new base types for 2-handed weapons were redone.
Yep.
And so if you're min-maxing which ones are the top tier of attack damage or attack speed and base damage and elemental damage, I have to go through and redo all that because that all got lost.
I was thinking, this is not really in our list, but with regards to 2-handers specifically, where they came out with all these new implicits on them. And I was thinking about just myself playing a 2-handed build, and a lot of the uniques have been, somewhat nerfed, which is fine. It seems to be that there's going to be a much more emphasis on rare 2-handed weapons, specifically this league, that whole crafting idea and building your own. But as I started to think about it, I was like, wow, so if there was a specific axe or mace that had a specific implicit that I wanted, the chance of me crafting, I was just thinking that they are going to be very expensive this league, because not only do you need the implicit that you want in that particular weapon, but now you also have to craft and get the rolls that are going to be beneficial to your build. It seemed like it was actually going to be a lot. You could probably make relatively good currency in crafting 2-handed weapons this league. Anyway.
Yeah, depends how common it is with the league mechanic. Have you seen any, total side note, have you seen any elemental options for melee weapons there?
The only one was the 2-handed sword.
So all I've seen, drops? No, in your garden. Every time I load up one of those spore thingies, it says, basically it's just, and maybe it's only because I'm at the beginning of the game, but it says caster or physical damage. And what if you're doing an elemental hit? Right? What is it? The axe or the mace? Forget which one. It was sword. That has an elemental damage implicit.
Yeah.
And I don't think every single melee skill. Maybe they are all physical damage.
Yeah, but a lot of them convert, so you're getting the benefit.
Yeah, but conversion's fine. You can still stack physical damage.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like Wild Strike, for example. Oh no, that converts. Elemental hit. There you go. There's the gem.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm curious what you think so far of, let's just start right off with the garden, the harvest side of it, the whole, the actual league mechanic. What do you think?
Yeah, good call. We didn't touch much on that last time around. We have I'm only Act 2. I'm near the end of Act 2. I don't know. I'm surprised. Like, I was so excited for this league. I'm still really into it, but I'm actually not that into the mechanic itself. I'm not into reading about it. I don't want to, I don't know. I'm opening it up. I see the spores there. I like the auto option for the tier 1s. That's great. But in terms of having all these lines set up and the little towers there and what you're going to do with them, I just want to kill stuff, right? Like, I like Breach. I like Abyss. I like Legion. Like, I just like killing enemies. And so I know that's the point of this, and eventually you'll get there. But I don't know. I'm in the middle of a map and now I gotta like look around and I'm just like do this. So I enjoy just clicking auto, and then when I see that all the circles are full, great, click as many as I can and kill them all as fast as I can. Besides that, if it gets more complicated than that, I'm probably going to be apathetic about it because I just want to go. I just want to keep going. I just want to keep the XP bar going. And it's not. I don't know. That's just my preference, right? That's why I like Dark Souls. I can completely ignore every single word and NPC in the game and just go straight to getting more XP, right? So, same thing. How about you? What do you think about it?
I like it better than maybe what I originally thought, but I remember the part of the conversation, I think we spoke about it in one of our episodes, was a conversation with Chris. I think it was in his conversation with Ziggy. That's a lot of conversations.
Mm.
That it was going to be very simple and straightforward. And I will say that if you're doing tier 1 seeds, it's awesome. You just hit the auto, they go in there. It's great. So far, I've gotten up to tier 3 in seeds. It is not simple. It is not just like, no. And I'm hoping if I give it a little bit, somebody will post on Reddit or something will go out there where people will be like, hey, here's the, optimal setup for your grove, because there's like combinations of, you need the juice of these ones and you need the spore locations of these ones, but you have 3, there's like, what is it? Blue, purple, and yellow. Combine those into like all the different combinations they have. And you've got the tier 2s, right? So that's the tier 2s where I might need the yellow juice and the purple seeds, and I need the purple juice and the blue seeds. Then they have to be beside each other. Then you go to tier 3, and now you're all of a sudden needing 2 juices, and it's not like you can just throw them into anywhere and they're fine. And like you were saying, the whole reading thing. One thing that if you are playing the league mechanic, this game has definitely slowed down, which I don't mind that.
I love that. I do like that. We were playing with someone today, and it was just, it's nice that you can just, you're going in.
It's not delirium for sure.
You're not in a rush. You're not in a rush.
There's no rush at all. Not at all. And in fact, if you want to do it, it's very slow. So if you're playing the league, it's a lot of reading. And then not only reading, but you have to go, okay, so now I need to move my collector over here, and I have to move my disperser over here, and I need to have storage for this one. And the dispersers, they have this ability to automatically spray the liquid, but it seems like they only allow you to automatically spray if they're connected to a storage. They won't do it if it's directly from a collector. And it's not like, and again, we're a day in. So maybe the more we do it, we'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually pretty easy. I don't think so far. I think what I'm sitting back waiting for is here's a good way to set up your collectors. Here's a good way to set up your storage. And and I'm fine with that. No different than me stealing somebody else's hideout. If somebody can show me, hey, here's the optimal layout, no problem. I'll do it. I love the idea that I can go in and auto populate all my tier 1s. But to do the tier 2s, tier 3s, and upwards, they have to coordinate with your tier 1s.
Okay.
And so that doesn't always work perfectly.
Did you look at, I think GGG released kind of a tutorial on how growing everything works online. They released it yesterday or the day before. Did you do that? I didn't. I'm just going off of what the character tells me. What's her name? Or she? Or
something like that, yeah.
I'm just going off what she tells me, and maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed a step, but I'm at a stage now where I'm going to be at a stalemate unless I go and do some research, and I'm fine with that. I find that I'm actually already not clicking on every one of her instances because I just don't want to pick it up, go put it in the stash, or click on my auto things and then come back out. I find I'm just keeping them until the next map type of thing, next act.
Yeah, it is a little weird too that you can leave the grove with some of the building pieces from the grove. Like I know that you can trade seeds, so okay, I guess I can understand why you take those, but the other parts aren't tradable. So I wish they just took them out of your inventory as soon as you left the grove, because sometimes you'll forget to put them into the other one. And then the other thing that I messed up, and this is just me, when you go to craft, if you choose like, okay, I'm going to condense the life force and I'm not going to use it, the button is right beside the button that allows you to also pull an item out of your stash so that you can craft an item in your stash, which is great. But I wasn't paying attention. I had a good craft. I thought I was going to be clicking the button to pull out my stash, and just because I wasn't paying attention, they're right beside each other. I hit the button and just condensed all the life force, and then the crafts are gone after that, right? So, but yeah, the crafting side of it, it's cool. It's definitely nice currently for leveling. I feel like if that's the type of crafts you're seeing when you get to maps, it might get a little tedious to go in there and just, but it's hard to say for sure until we get further.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it for 2 weeks and seeing what it's like after being in maps for a while. One thing I absolutely love about it is when there are enemies to fight, it's fun. They just rush you, and it's great. And it's all, even as because SRS, it's a build up skill, right? And right now I'm at a stage where I can only get 10 or 11 out before it kind of, they expire and I have to cast the next one. So it sticks at around 10. And you click on the tower pus thingy. What is it anyway? What is it that you click on?
I have a bulb. No, the collector. The collector is the thing that starts the event.
Okay, so you click on it, and it actually gives me a tiny bit of time to get a few out. So even
thank
though
God it gives you time.
Yeah,
if it was right away, yep.
Yeah, like I can click it, I can move away, I can start casting, I get about 4 out, and then it's good. It's a good pace. Everything's good. And you know what? I don't know what other people are having. I'm using Vulkan. I've heard people are having a really tough time with some stuff. I am having a great time. This is one of the most beset, with the exception of some of the filter stuff that I had at the beginning and whatever it was, that server issue. Gameplay wise, this is probably the cleanest start I've ever had.
Yeah,
in POE. The glitches from me. Maybe I'm in a small percentage, but maybe I'm in a huge percentage. This has been a very clean league start for me.
They brought out just like yesterday, they announced that the dynamic calling was going to be part of this release, and I have it turned on. I'm also using Vulkan. I know some people have had issues. I have, but nothing that's like breaking the game for me. It's just textures aren't loading. Sometimes the stash doesn't actually exist. We were doing a Zaro and he disappeared. You just saw his 2 swords dancing around. So like weird things like that, but nothing that actually broke the game or didn't let me play it. So,
I haven't had any invisible people yet, but I don't have what's that second option you mentioned?
Dynamic calling.
Yeah, I turned that off because I want to see what Vulkan's like.
Off, yeah.
Oh no, hang on. Yeah, I don't want to use it right now because I want to see what Vulkan's like without that extra added help on my PC, because I have an okay PC, not a great PC, so I want to see. And I haven't run into any of those issues.
Yeah, I have it turned on.
So maybe it's the calling.
It could be just that. I just don't care. It's still working fine. I do get random blips, but I'm also not running the newest version of NVIDIA. I didn't want to load it because I was like in the first 2000 for the queue, and I was scared to update the driver and have to reload the game.
Yeah,
so it's fine. I'm not complaining.
Awesome, cool. So mentioned at the beginning how excited you were, and it was cool to have you so excited for this league, and you weren't sure, and you were tossing and turning, you were staying up late, on your phone, figuring things out, what kind of builds you wanted to do. And I was thinking about it, and it's interesting because I'm still enjoying, like, despite we weren't glowing with praise just now about the league, but we're still having a great time. And it's funny, all the stuff that we got really excited about are core changes. Mm-hmm. It's not the league stuff. Like, it's not even the crafting, even though apparently it's going to be crazy OP. It's the core changes that are exciting us the most. It's the core changes that we're dwelling on with all of our options that we have. And it's interesting. It's an interesting combo because you have, leagues are the life force of GGG. You have to have leagues to get the revenue, to keep it coming over and over and over, and you have to come up with ideas. But it's funny because it's the core mechanics that are bringing us all the excitement to this league, for us personally, anyway. And I just thought that was an interesting thing as you were going through and deciding. None of it was revolving around the league at all.
No, reading the patch notes and all that kind of stuff, I was way more excited to see a lot of the core changes. Well, you assume they're all going core. They're all core changes, but way more of that than league stuff. The league stuff this league is a cool thing to test out and play with, but I'm much more excited to try out some of the new core stuff that's changing.
And it's not a criticism to the league at all. It's just exciting when the core stuff changes because it's for such a long haul in the future. You were saying that ETH was just playing with Ice Crash for a little bit, and the AoE was ginormous. Massive. With 0 AoE investment. Probably not going to be like that for 3.12, but still,
it actually made me laugh that you want me to play Ice Crash because it is like I mean, it's not as flashy like that whole blue and white before, but I
It's
could
gray
not
now?
see any. I couldn't see any. It's like gray and bluish. It's big though. It's definitely big.
Hmm.
So, but no, the core stuff has been fun. I like that. That it's been exciting. Now,
Now,
go ahead.
well, I was going to say you're getting busy, right?
Yeah.
You got a lot of stuff going on, so I'm going to be catching up to you. You ready to play together?
Yeah. Well, okay. This is gonna be a Justin / Tagz rant. And I had a really great conversation with a number of people on Discord about it because somebody posted that people had asked on Reddit if there was any information on how party play was going to work with Harvest. And Bex, she said she was going to talk to one of the programmers and then she would get back to us. And so she did. And I'll just read what GGG's stance is on Harvest and multiplayer. When you're playing in a party, opening a seed cache only benefits the map owner. The seeds that drop are allocated to the map owner and only their garden grows in response. This is because there's no additional challenge associated with having other players standing around nearby. If a party member helps you with fights in the Sacred Grove, then the fights are harder, drop additional items, and grant additional experience like all other content in Path of Exile. We're considering increasing the drop rate of tier 2, 3, 4 seeds from Grove fights for additional party members who are present for the entire fight. This change would come in the days following the release. I have a monster problem with GGG and multiplayer. And I would say, and we've had people give us a hard time about being whatever they call it, big fanboys. That's the word. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we love GGG. We love Path of Exile. They're doing a great job with it. Their ability to make this game multiplayer though is just brutal. It's so frustrating. Like we had a big discussion about why is it this way? Why not go the other way? I feel like a lot of times their decisions for co-op are so last minute. They have a design for the league. They have a design for a mechanic and they're good. I'm not arguing any of their designs for their mechanics or their leagues. I do like them. But I feel like then all of a sudden they have to go, well, how are we going to make this work in multiplayer? And the absolute easiest option is, it won't. We'll just give it to whoever the map owner is. And it's just weird to me because I don't understand. Like, do they not understand what you've just done to every other person that plays this game? Now, I have a lot that we're going to go into, but I was talking to one of the guys when we were playing tonight, and he was talking about wanting his brother to play. If I get a friend to play this game, for me to
smokes, that list is huge.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
I know what the episode title is going to be.
For me to play this game with a friend or to invite somebody who I go, hey, you'd really like Path of Exile. I'm actually better off telling them to play by themselves and just ask me questions. Mm-hmm. Or if I'm going to play and help them, I'm doing it at my detriment. I'm not going to progress my Atlas. I'm not going to progress any of this league mechanic at all. None. I'm not going to see seeds drop. I'm not going to be able to move my own growth cycles along. It's just a poor decision. And I'm trying to understand why they go that direction. And we got into, it was, like I said, it was a great discussion in Discord. There were both sides and it was really hard for me because I was busy at work and I was typing on my phone, which is not the easiest to do. But the more I thought about it, I wish they just didn't make seeds tradable. I wish they just said, look, the seeds that drop are yours, just like the Delirium or the Metamorph monster parts. You can't trade them. They're yours. And I'll just say right off the bat, one of the arguments to that was, well, they already said it's going to be tradable, so they can't take it back. My argument is, yes, you can. The league hadn't come out yet. It shouldn't be that hard. But the only reason I'm saying that is because if you don't make the seeds tradable, then there's no disadvantage to allowing seeds to drop, even if it's at a reduced rate, like the Delve sulfite is dropping. It's the sulfite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a reduced amount, whatever, and let my growth cycle tick no matter whose map it is. Everybody
That's
who's
the
in
biggest issue. Growth cycle.
Like,
that's the biggest problem.
It's a really, really poor decision. I'm hoping there's going to be something that comes about where they start to rethink it or find a different way to do it. But there's literally no benefit to the league to play in a group. None. And the whole idea of like, well, if you're in a party, you can do the Sacred Grove and the fights are going to be harder and they're going to drop additional items. And okay, first off, I could not care less about the additional experience. It's a very, very short fight. There's not very much experience happening in that. So that's not a benefit. the fight's harder, great. You could do that anyway. That could happen every single time. And even the drops additional items, all right. Like one of the arguments,
like that in every single other part
Sure.
of the game where it's dropping additional items. It's all about loot.
Part of the discussion we had in Discord was, people find ways to abuse the game, and especially like really hardcore players that are playing in groups of 6 and they're really like pushing the advantage. And, there was concern like, well, if they're buying the seeds that are higher level and they're all able to plant it in their own, and then they run 15 maps, for example, they're going to get 6 bosses they can fight versus an individual doing it who's only going to have one boss to fight. And my argument to that is, they are. If I play with just you and it's me and you, there's no way that me and you playing should be on a fair level to a 6 group of people playing. They should have an advantage because they're splitting between 6 people. We're splitting between 2. I feel like when they try to balance the game around saying, okay, well, whether you're playing with 2 or 6, we need to make sure it's fair. All you've done is said, hey, just play by yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't make those 2 things fair. In every other game that's ever existed, that's any sort of RPG style or loot-based game, playing in a group typically awards you higher award because it's split.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, if you and I were to play ESO, Elder Scrolls Online together, and it was just us 2, it'd be tough. We'd come across a group of 6 people playing and they're crushing it.
They're going to have better stuff.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Like I know like one of the arguments too was that, there's the potential for them to wreck the economy. Maybe. But this didn't solve it. To me, this isn't like the fix for it. This is literally just forcing everybody to play by themselves. And I don't understand it. So I got heated. Like when we were talking about it, it wasn't with the chat. I actually thought the chat was great. But the idea in my head of them just going like, well, no, only the map owner gets it. Only the map owner progresses their growth. It really got me irritated because I thought you just have slapped people in the face about trying to play Path of Exile in a group. I looked through all the past leagues. And Tyler, you can attest to this. I've never written this much for one of our episodes ever. I
don't think you've ever in your life written this
not like this. So I went back and I started looking. I was like, well, let's, check out past mechanics and past leagues. And if you go through all of the early leagues, they had no effect on multiplayer. They were awesome. You could play Breach. You could play like all of these different leagues leading up. There were until you got to Incursion. Incursion was the first incident of like, hey, Alva's in the map, but she's only for the map person. Okay. So that was the first one. And then there were a few more. Delve wasn't great when it started, but they eventually figured out Delve. But the more I was looking at these, I was like, man, a lot of these got a little bit better once they went core and they actually adjusted them. But they still have, so Betrayal. It's the same instance as Incursion where only the map owner and the map runner is going to get the benefit of it. And the more I looked at it, I was like, why? If let's say we did Incursion, let's say you and I were doing a map together and it was an Alva affected map, why can't Alva just be like an instanced version for you? I'm not going to come into your Alva thing, but you can pick when you talk to her, she'll give you your own temple. And if you choose to go in, you're on your own fighting your temple and I'm on my own doing my temple. Because then later we can join up and do each other's temple together.
Mm-hmm.
But and it's the same for Betrayal. Like I don't understand why I have to be missing something, and I'm sure I am. But I wish that they put as much effort, or not as much, just like a shred more effort into going, hey, we've made this great league, this great mechanic. How can we make sure it works in multiplayer? And everybody keeps saying POE 2, they said going to be more multiplayer friendly. So let's hope that POE 2 comes out. I don't have a whole lot of faith after this release where they literally just very nonchalantly are like, nope, just the party leader or just the map owner is going to get the 2 most important parts of the whole freaking league, the seeds and the growth.
Yeah.
I don't care about the drops.
Where did this what was this, like a post where they were talking about multiplayer? How did it come up? Because people want to play together.
Yeah.
It wasn't people that play solo asking, hey, how does multiplayer work? hey, you know what? There's a lot of people that only play solo that are really curious how multiplayer work. Can you tell us how it works? And they didn't go through the trouble of figuring it out and posting it because all the solo people wanted to. There's a huge amount of co-op play. That's a huge part of every single game. But I think this is a huge assumption. I'm not over there, but I think a big part of it comes down to their own timestamps that they put themselves in, right? They're in a rush, it seems like, a lot of the time. They have their 3-month schedule, and they don't have firm rules for what they want to include with multiplayer. Like if they simply had, I mean, maybe it would restrict them in their ideas, and maybe that's part of the problem. But if they said this has to work for party members, there has to be a reason for party members to want to play together, and we cannot waver from that, I think you'd have substantially different leagues on a regular basis. Like this is, you know what this is? It's kind of like, Justin, I'm moving and I need your help. We'll get some of our buds together. It'll be, I mean, it's a lot of work, but you know, come help me move, and you know, we'll bond and we'll have a good time. I'll buy a pizza lunch just for me. You know what I mean? Like you've gone through, you've done all this, we've hung out, and the only thing you get was hanging out with me. I got the pizza. That's it.
Yeah. And we've had this conversation way prior to this league, because it's one of the, it's a core part of the game that the Atlas and the Conquer progression is required for you to move on through the game. Me and you want to play together. Great. The Atlas progression will count, but that's it. And I don't know the solution. I'm not saying that I'm you know, just bitching because, you know, you should take what I'm saying and do what I'm saying. I don't have a solution, but there just has to be, because otherwise, like I said, I can't invite friends. I can't teach new people this game because I can't play with them. And for me to play with them is at my detriment, because I'm not going to progress the Atlas. So unless I played for a really long time and then I started helping them with theirs, I guarantee if we get one of our friends to hop on and join this game, but then don't play with them, they're probably going to be out really quick.
Yeah.
It's just that it's just so weird to me. And I can't stand the whole just, you know, just apathetic, like, okay, yeah, you know, here's how the multiplayer works. No. Don't say this is how the multiplayer works. Just say it's a single player game. Like the whole argument of like, well, here's how it will work in a party. It's only going to affect the person who started the map. It's only going to affect, just say that POE is made for a single player game and there's the ability to party up to trade. At least then I can't be mad that the multiplayer doesn't work. Right. Yeah. Like, so I don't know, maybe something will change with POE 2, but I'm not a big fan of saying that POE 2 will fix this. It's been a problem since the beginning of Path of Exile. Like the amount of work that's gone into guilds is embarrassing. Just remove them. There's no reason for them. It's such an afterthought. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I hope that there's some more thought that goes into the multiplayer, because I don't feel like it should be this difficult. And if it means that you have to change something that you said, like make seeds not tradable, do it. I like make the game more fun to play. We talked a little bit in the conversation about how many people play the game to play it solo versus how many people play the game to play it multiplayer. Now the beauty of Path of Exile is it is easy to play solo. And both of us have talked about the fact we love that. If I want to just hop on for half an hour and play, that's great that I can do it. And there's nothing in this game that stops me from doing that. There's nothing that's gated behind you need to be in a group like some other games are. Yep. The problem, though, is that there is stuff in this game that makes it a negative to join up in a group in a multiplayer online game. Yeah. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That's right. I think your idea of not having seeds tradable works. Like from what I gather from their mentality is trade is a huge part of their game, and they don't want to restrict trade as much as possible. Wait, was that double negative? Anyway. They want to allow for as much trading as possible. Sure. But I think if you restrict, if seeds can't be traded, then people are forced to craft epic gear and then trade that. And that's fine. That's exactly what we've always been doing. They've been doing that since the dawn of time. So if you just make it that the seeds can't be, but it's the gear that you make from all that effort, then.
Yeah, and not even just the gear, but the actual craft. If you go back to when the masters were the old way, there were players who crushed this game, got their masters to level 8, and then sold the crafts, because really most players were not going to get their masters to 8 to be able to get the top tier crafts. Why can't this be somewhat of that? Like, hey, look, I've got this great craft. And because the actual craft mechanic is only accessible to the person who owns the grove, it's not like someone can steal it. So you could sell crafts. I wish that there was some thought put into it besides just this, like, well, you know, I feel like it's so brushed over, and it's been like that for a very long time. It really has. When I started going back through the leagues, I was like, wow, it's actually existed for quite a while. And it's existed in a way of just being kind of brushed off and been like, yeah, you know, that's what it is. And you'll just have to deal with it.
It's what it looks like from our side. Maybe they talk about it a lot. But the thing is that when you're making a game for the community and when you're making a game for them, and when you communicate the way that they do, they need to get it. Like, if you want your fans to know, you got to let them know. Like, it's got to make sense to them. So if there's a reason, not just how can I put this?
Well, so the reason for this one, it to me is actually a bit of a slap in the face. This is because there's no additional challenge associated with having other players standing around nearby. I feel like you're actually slapping people a little bit with that. Like mocking them, like, well, there's no benefit to just having someone standing around.
Well, then why do you give me Sulfite and Delph?
I just don't get it. Like,
it's the exact same thing. And like, I'm going to be running a map no matter what.
Yeah,
I'm either going to be in my map or in your map,
right?
But either way, I'm clicking that thing.
Yeah, and I even if you did, I don't know. I could go on forever. I hope that in the future they put more work into the multiplayer or more forethought into it. I love the leagues. I love the mechanics of how they work, and even Harvest. So far, I am enjoying the mechanic of the league. Holy cow! I absolutely hate multiplayer with Path of Exile though. And it gets more frustrating as leagues progress, because I already know that the Atlas and the Conquerors are absolutely effed. And that's not new. They were like that back with Shaper and Elder. If you wanted to spread Shaper on your map, do your own maps. There was no other way to do it. And again, I'm not saying I have a fix, but there needs to be some thought into that to make it so that you can play with a group.
And the thought needs to come when you're coming up with the idea, not post. Right? Use it. Okay, well, this isn't going to work for multiplayer. So that's nice that it's a fantastic idea, but
how can we? Or is there something we can do?
It has to include our rules on multiplayer, not, well, let's hope that people enjoy it, even though it's not made for multiplayer. Yeah. I think the mentality, we don't know, but what's communicated to us is what you said. It's a single player game, but you can play together if you want.
Yeah, if you want to trade. And XP is more awesome, that's great, but that's not why I'm playing the game. I'm not playing the game to get to 100. I'm playing the game to play with people and get loot. That's the whole point. And again, we've had this conversation for leagues past, that when we're playing a map, we have to debate whose map are we going to run, because we're both not benefiting from this at all. Besides, you know, like the actual mechanics within the game are not going to benefit us both. So how do we plan who's to run now and who's not to? And I think that's just absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Especially because this league felt like one where they could have found a way to make it work. You know what I mean? Yeah. I felt like there was the ability to make this one work with party play. And I just felt like they were at the last minute, like, oh shit, people like to play this together? No, I just don't like it.
You brought up a really good point about POE 2. I started thinking about POE 2 when this was happening. And I'm like, man, I'm disappointed that things that I'm looking forward to the most are backtracking. Like, multiplayer is big. The only reason I play PC POE is to play with you. So what I'm just as soon as I get to maps, I'm just following you, and I'm going to have absolutely zero league development, league specific. I'm only going to have character development. That's fine. The game is ginormous on its own. But when you are designing a game that revolves around league, and it's league that makes people and players come back, I'm not, if I cared about the game more than I did playing with you, I would not play with you.
Yep.
Because this is the game that we like.
And there isn't
and that makes zero.
It's not a small percentage of people that want to play multiplayer. I mean, you could see under Bex's post a crap load of responses of people disappointed with that decision. And even people who like to play this game solo, which both of us are that. And we know lots of people who are that. That doesn't mean that they don't want to not be allowed to play it multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to somehow work. It's a weird thing. So that's my rant about, because it really set me off. And I appreciate whoever brought it up to my attention, because it was based on one of our episodes that they heard, and then they linked this comment, and I just was like, you've got to be, like, I was actually angry with clients afterwards.
But I'm still impressed. GGG goes through and they consider stuff, right? They say they read every single Reddit comment and they go through, and I mean, whether they listen to this or other people, they'll have heard it from whatever avenue, some other way or not. And there's things that they consider. You know what I mean?
Like, I'm that you like to be positive all the time, and I do get it, but I don't think this is true in this case. I think this has existed for a long enough time. It's not like this is something new to them. They're not like, what? Wait a minute. People want to play. This isn't new. I think this is an active choice to be like, well, it's not going to work. But
they have something coming that they have never had coming in their entire existence, and that's Path of Exile 2.
That is not acceptable. So that's not an acceptable excuse.
No. I'm not saying it's an excuse for now, but I'm saying their decision making might be different than history has, because they have something that they've put. It cost them millions of dollars to put on ExileCon, right? They're putting everything into POE 2, and if multiplayer sucks in POE 2, the hype on POE 2 is going to die so
Yeah, but what
fast.
if multiplayer is great in POE 2? Who on earth is going to touch POE 1? The whole idea is to have them be playable together, and people can choose.
They're technically the same game, right? That's their goal. My point, though, like, all of that would change together, right? You just have two separate campaigns that, if the goal still is achievable, it was two separate campaigns that have the same end game, right? And it was your separate campaigns that gave you your choice of ascendancies, right? If that's still the case of what's going to happen. But if POE 2 does not have a fixed multiplayer, I mean, okay, so I have over 30 ascendancies, and like, it's going to feel like POE 1 very quickly. And I think they'll have wasted the possibility of so much in revenue.
It took a very heavy turn in 3.3, which was Incursion. Even before that was Bestiary. You go and catch a beast right now, we both get it. It's kind of weird that they're picking and choosing what stuff they want to make work for multiplayer and not. And I'm just saying, this has been an issue, a very big issue since 3.3 specifically. And even before that, if you want to count Shaper and Elder. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of thought going into it, except the thought of like, yeah, we just can't make it work. And I could understand that a little bit if you just said, hey, look, this is not a focus. We're not focused on being a multiplayer game. We're focused on being an online game that you're going to play solo and you can trade with other people. Then I can't bitch. I can't complain, because that's the focus.
Expectations fix a lot.
That's the focus.
Expectations fix a lot.
Anyway, that's it. Again, Tyler is very, very good at being positive, and I appreciate that about him. And I'm not trying to be negative. I love Path of Exile. I think GGG does a great job. I just think multiplayer has taken a kick in the butt for a very long time, and this felt like a very apathetic, like, screw you, just go play.
Yeah. So Justin's going to New Zealand with a picket sign.
Yeah, that's my thing.
He's gonna bring the one case of COVID with him back into.
What's going to happen is I'm going to play Harvest for the rest of this league and probably not bring this up again. This is something that it just irritates me. It's going to be there.
I hope if they're listening, they don't hear that part.
It's not going to change anything for me playing. It just irritates me.
You're playing mines, right?
Yep.
What are you doing with your mines? Like, what kind of
place
build?
Them on the
Can
ground,
we actually even play together?
Why not?
You were thinking lightning ball?
I don't know. I'm going to play around with Arc right now. Maybe ball lightning. I don't think there's a lightning
probably
ball.
Lightning, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm using elemental equilibrium, but I'm going to be fire. So I think we might be set, because I was going to use lightning to proc elemental equilibrium. But I don't mind this kind of stuff. Like, with all those crazy mechanics on the tree, you and I having to figure out how we can synergize our builds. I don't mind that. You know what I mean? To me, that's not bad multiplayer.
No.
Zooming.
Yep. I think the only time that the curses are a little bit weird for that, but no, I think in general, it's not a bad thing for having to figure that out. But I also think it's definitely less new player friendly, right? If two people are like, hey, I really heard Path of Exile is a great game, Joe, We should pick it up. All right, Bob, let's go play. And Bob and Joe start playing. They're both going to get effed. They're going to be like, wait a minute, how come you got seeds? What is that? And then I'm running around in somebody else's grove and I don't know. You got to think about like a little bit of the different people that might play it. So anyway, I'm playing mines. We'll make it work once you catch up.
We will. I'll change my my EE proc skill to be something that works for you so that we can all do the damage. As I was going through and building doing my final touches, I wasn't going to do my starting build final touches until I'd finished all of my guides. So I did that last night or this morning or something, I forget, maybe in between one of my guides as a break. They changed a crap load of notables. Did you notice?
I did, yep. I like to notice that, or I like to bring up the point that I got to notice this time beforehand. That new, it's not new, it's new to us, the Path of Building fork. It was amazing. It is so easy to use. I love it. But I loved getting to see the tree before I started playing this time because
yes, it was nice. And I just couldn't believe the tree really changed. Like, we're not just talking keystones. We're not just talking some notables. It was like the entire tree changed. Almost every single path, like minions, almost every minion damage node got reduced.
Well, reduced, but not, was it moved much? Like, I didn't find looking at the tree, I don't see my directions are that different.
2 of my guides, I was able to keep the exact same tree.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, those nodes didn't move in terms of how travel points.
Sure.
Another 2 of them lost 2 clusters. They were moved. Like, even one of the minion damage ones was moved from the top left to kind of the middle on the right. And but like, even here, there was one that just, when I was making my minion build, my SRS dropped 15,000 DPS. I was going to be doing 16 billion fun per hour. I was going to be doing, now this isn't a criticism, it's just an observation. And there was very little talk about minions at all in the patch notes. And then all of a sudden, all my minion builds are like, I had to completely change where I was getting my investments from. My SRS was going to be doing around 55,000 each, right? With a 310 tree, with the exact same setup. But now with 311 tree, they're around 33,000 each. It's insane. The big difference. Exact same nodes. It's crazy. Like, even Spiritual Aid, that's the node on the very far left that makes all
minion stuff
increases and reductions to minion damage affect you as well.
Yep.
That lost its damage increase, which I think is good, but oh my goodness, that makes it a lot more controversial to pick. And one of my absolute favorite ones, this one's awesome for my max block gladiator. It's called Command of Steel. Now, it used to be just a nice bonus of block and attack damage. It was just a nice notable. Now, it's one of my favorite ones on the entire tree. It gives 1% increased damage based on how much block you have for attacks. So my max block gladiator has 79% block damage or chance to block attacks.
Yes.
So that one notable is giving me 79% increased damage. But it's cool because it varies, right? If you're not a max block gladiator, okay, but maybe you have 50%. Awesome, right? What if you're the guardian and I have that one node that every 5 seconds for 2 seconds, I have a 50% chance to block attacks.
Yep.
So if I have that Commander of Steel, my attack damage is going up and down and up and down, but that is great. It was insane how much they changed. No wonder they completely revamped oils and added an extra oil. They probably needed some variants for all the different costs they have. Yeah, it was insane. But I spent a lot longer than I expected on all of my guides because it was a cool reshuffle. It was a lot of fun to go through.
I spent most of my time, my time was just for fun looking at them going, ooh, they move that there. Okay, I like that one. I didn't time a lot of them into the builds I was using, but yeah, it is cool.
That's why we call it Christmas, these league launches. It's just so cool. I absolutely love it. I don't know if minions need the hit. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. It's just funny. Ever since the Minion League, it's like kicking the balls. kicking the balls. Next league, kicking the balls. This league, no talk about it. Sneak attack.
I don't know though.
Kicking
Rallying
the balls.
cry is so strong.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But what if you don't do any damage yourself?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could still.
It's a good combo skill.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I'm maybe the minions need it. My build's still strong. I've still only died
They are
500
overpowered.
times
They should be nerfed
before
again.
Act 2. They should,
Nerf
especially
minions.
SRS. Yeah.
Yep.
Get rid of the fire damage.
Okay, so I'm actually just a little bit curious because I saw one in a craft. I have no clue. I know they added, I don't know if it's currencies, items, scrolls, all these random new things that we haven't even seen yet. There was a something lens. We couldn't even craft it. Ethan got it. You had to you had to take a corrupted gem and you would get 30% of its XP into some sort of like focal lens or something. I don't even know what it was, but there's still a lot clearly to find out in this game. Maybe people already know all those extra things, but yeah, they've added a lot of new currencies, items.
Was it from a league specific thing, or do you think it's
it was
core?
from the harvest craft?
Oh, was it? Because they had, when they released the item filter information, I saw all these crazy new scrolls and like to us, a portal scroll and a wisdom scroll. That's it. Right. So when I see scroll, I'm like, okay, it's going to suck. I'm putting that at the bottom, ding, my tier. But then I'm like looking around and there's like an engineer's orb scroll or something. I don't know.
Like an infused engineer's orb or something too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bizarre.
So this league, I actually have WTF is this section in my filter that's a specific color so that I don't lose it in the filter. And like, because
it just pops up really
what
big.
are these things? There was no talk about them in the patch notes.
I like that. I'm good with that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Except as a community creator, I'm terrified that I'm going to have like a little low ding, but it's actually epic.
Yeah, it's nice when you don't have to care about that.
But so you saw something drop like that?
No,
it didn't
drop. It was something we could craft, some sort of focal.
Okay.
I can't remember the word it used, but some lens. I don't know. It took like 30. It ate your corrupted gem and would put 30% of its XP into this lens. And I have no idea what you would do with it. We didn't have a corrupted gem to use. And not only that, but you'd need a leveled corrupted gem to make it worthwhile.
And it cost XP from your gem?
No, it would cost life force to do the thing.
Misunderstood.
But it would take away the corrupted gem and then give you 30% of the XP currently earned into that corrupted gem into some sort of lens. I have no idea what you do with the lens. Like I have no idea. So
see, that stuff's so awesome.
Yeah.
That stuff's so cool.
I'm sure by the time like this comes out, it's already going to be like, hey, here's all the things. But currently I have no clue what it is.
You should take a look at that item filter list again, just to see the different stuff. It's weird. It's crazy. Some of the, I will not. So neat. You should. Do you want me to bring it up right now and I'll just read it word for word?
Oh my God.
Lose every viewer we've ever earned?
Yeah. Nope. No, thank you.
All right, fine. You know what my favorite item still is?
Tell
and
me.
I don't know. I guess maybe because this is a simple league and I'm still kind of like, no, I'm not going to put the effort into it, so far. Yeah. So maybe it's just because I'm that simple, but incubators, they're the friggin' best. They're just so cool. You pick them up, you slap them on. And if you don't play it for 3 weeks and then you come back to it later, because me on standard, right? Playing console later on. Like all of a sudden something drops. Oh, sweet. Another incubator drops, slap it on whatever you have left. Just keep killing. Something drops. Oh, they're the best.
It's like a treat when you're trading for gear and you get one that's got an incubator already on it.
Yeah, they didn't even realize it or forgot.
Sucker.
Yeah. But, leveling, earning XP is awesome. In this game, gems earn XP. That's awesome. It's you and gems. And now you have an incubator that's leveling up too. Oh, man, the more stuff that levels, the better. Bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it. You already had a thingy thing this episode, so I don't want to, set you off. But regarding
Alva, no, she's level 7. I couldn't care less anymore.
Yeah, that's right. She all has been forgiven. Regarding them adding delirium in the mirror so quickly to the core game, do you think that it would have been best, even if they had intended to put delirium and cluster jewels in core, that it would have been better to wait? Maybe, pretend POE 2 is not coming out, right? Because, of course, there's certain things they might want to implement so that it is well established for PoE 2's launch. So pretend PoE 2 is not coming out. Do you think it probably would have been better for Delirium if they had waited a league or two?
How would you put clusters into the game though? If they were going to
you
wait?
Wouldn't now. That's right. You would have to wait.
Minds.
I know. So, but think about it. Alva, Nico, and Einhar all had introductions into their own personal leagues when they were the league.
Sure.
Right. And sure, they ended up getting fixed, but there was a lot of, community feedback that was answered and a lot of changes for those 3 different ones. And it was 2 or 3 leagues after the last one of them until they came back. Remember, because they were all their individual. Well, yeah. I mean, who was first?
Nico Delve wasn't available the following league. There was no Delve? No,
I forget the order of it. Well, no, that's right. Because Nico, Alva, and Einhar, from a lore perspective, all were introduced one league after the other. And then I don't remember if it was the league after the last one of those or 2 leagues after, but then they were all introduced together.
It went Bestiary, Incursion, Delve.
Bestiary, Incursion, Delve, Betrayal. Okay, awesome. So Delve, so Delve did come in the next league. And then there was some issues very next league with how balanced all the currency was with that, right? With sulfite and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But look at Einhart was first. And then look at how polished it was when it was introduced 2 or 3 or 4 leagues later. You know what I mean? Like it was well thought out. They got rid of nets. It made it so much easier. I don't know. Maybe even if they plan on adding stuff to core, giving it a league or 2 break, properly think things through, see how things are going. What do you think of that?
I'm going to have to wait till I play a little bit more of Harvest to see how Delirium fits into it, because currently Harvest is very chill and I am enjoying that part of it. Neither of us are like crazy rushers trying to like get through it as fast as possible. So I have enjoyed the fact that it's more chill. But I do like clusters too. So I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure the whole idea of taking them out entirely would work for a league or 2. I hate the Delirium Mirror, which we've talked about tons, but maybe it's not so bad. I don't know. It's hard to say because I haven't gotten even far enough to see them come into this league yet. So
smart answer.
It'll be
smart answer.
Interesting to see how that plays out. I already know I'm going to hate the idea of backtracking because I didn't like that in Delirium, or it's kind of a weird, like, it's a rush. It's a push to make you rush forward only to have to backtrack after. So we'll see how that plays, but maybe it'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know about the whole like waiting a league or 2 because I actually didn't even realize they really waited that long. That being said, Alva wasn't really that improved. Einhar was, but they did the one thing they needed to do, which was remove the nets to make that work better. And then Nico was a relatively good fix, but I don't know.
It still took them a while in Syndicate to properly balance the delve outputs.
Oh, yeah.
How much it cost to travel and how much you earned based on your tier.
Yeah, it took a bit, but it's not like that was fixed because of time or like multiple leagues passing. It was just, it went out and they were like, oh, this doesn't work because people are freaking out, or it just doesn't, whatever. They did fix that one relatively well. I'm not sure you'd have much that you could change with Delirium, because my only solution is piss off with the mirror and just, I don't know, make like the orbs drop, but then you can't get any benefit till you're in maps if they do that. So in this current way that they're doing it, at least you do get the option to get them while you're leveling. So that is good.
There's pros and cons. It's just, it has, like we've talked about,
it's the like Alva
situation at the beginning.
It's the feeling of being rushed, and it is what it is.
Yeah, man. I hope POE 2, with all the talk that they had about slowing the game down, I really hope that they have plans to remove timed everything. Just play. Oh, I hope they do. I hope they do. Remember that first level where there was that big bell boss? Right? Remember that? There was like that guy, he like breaks the bell off and he's like slamming it on the ground, and it's a terrifying fight.
In PoE 2.
Yeah. Sorry. Imagine if that was timed. That would just suck.
It's coming, Ty. Just wait. They'll come up with something new timed. Guaranteed.
I hope not.
I think they like it.
Oh.
What's your newbie tip this week? We're starting a league.
While we're on the subject.
While we're on that. Yeah. What's the newbie tip?
So my newbie tip actually comes from some feedback that I've had this week. and it was reiterated by a lot of different people. But don't be intimidated by those that have a lot of time to play and maybe have already made endgame or are going to make endgame by, the second day of league launch. Play at your pace, no matter the league that you play in. You'll have a lot more fun with POE if you put your life first and then POE. It sounds like a silly tip, but I can't tell you how many people have messaged me with all the guides that I do and all the feedback. People want to play at their pace, no matter how fast. I mean, maybe it's really fast, maybe it's really slow, but this game really shines when people use it to decompress as opposed to use it as a source of stress. You know what I mean? Like, I need to get this item. I have to get here, by this time. I'm like, oh man, this person's here and I'm only here. Play at your pace. Put your life first, play POE second, and honestly, you will love the game.
This is coming from Grandpa Tyler.
Old man wrecker.
Yep, that's good.
What's yours?
Use essences. I have been around this game for a really long time, and it wasn't until just recently that I realized they're like alks when you're leveling. They're actually targeted alchemy orbs that are, to me, very useless in endgame. I don't tend to do a lot of crafting with essences just because I just don't. I don't do a ton of crafting anyway, but I realized how easy they are to use while you're leveling up. You get them quite a bit. They're really good. So yeah, don't just store them like me.
No, that's what I used to do. I used to store them all the time. And then all of a sudden I realized, like, when you're doing maps, even if you're just doing T10s, but all the way up, you're not getting the lowest tier essences. And you're not really stacking up if you're bottling up all your lower tier ones and then converting them to the next tier. Like, use the lower tier ones and you're not going to be missing out. You're not screwing yourself out of the big ones.
I throw them in the stash tab and then I would just convert them just for the fun of watching how high up did I get, but I would never use them. So yeah, use them when you're leveling. It's a big help.
Smart.
All right, let's wrap up episode 33. Let everybody get back to playing their, you've probably been playing anyway. Let us get back to playing some Harvest League. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying it. Thanks a lot for joining us for episode 33 of Forever Exile, the Path of Exile podcast. I am Justin, aka Tagz.
And I'm Tyler, Wrecker of Days.
We will catch you in episode 34. And for our Patreons, we will see you in After Dark. You can check out below for any show notes that we might have. We've got a link to our website, foreverexiled.com. Our Twitter is foreverexiled82. Our Patreon link is below. Our Discord link is below. If you want to join us in the private server for Harvest, the information is on the Discord server. And thanks a lot for hanging out, guys.
I'm actually really excited to keep playing. I know that was kind of a Debbie Downer one, but man, I'm super stoked to play some more.
You are a Debbie Downer. Like the perfect word. Actually, I guess it was me this time.
Yeah.